Alright, so Boston has had... Okay. What I'm trying to spit out here is Boston has a sore throat. So Daddy's going to give him some warm salt water. We're going to see what his little reaction is. What did he do?
He goes, no?
No.
You'll make your throat feel better, bud. You'll try to make your throat feel better? It's alright.
It's alright.
You don't want your throat to feel better?
He said he doesn't want to go to school. You don't go to school.
You don't go to school, you weirdo. You won't miss school.
No. You won't miss school. You don't go.
Alright, so we're back at the doctor. It's been almost a week and Bossy still has his little rash and stuff, so we're back at the doctor. He's just chilling on the little doctor table.
He wanted to lay down.
He just wanted to lay down, so he laid down and watched Elmo's World. So, anyways, he's just kind of chilling. Say hi, Bossy. He looked at you guys, so. Anyways, I guess last night, he started saying his throat kind of hurts and stuff, so we brought him to the doctor and just trying to see what's going on. So, anyways, that's what's going on with us.
We, where we moved from to move here, Boston had a doctor that was with him in the delivery room. His doctor was the same exact doctor that saw him from the moment he was born. And as a parent, that's a comforting thing to know that your doctor has seen your child from the moment they have been born. You develop a really deep trust for that person. And, we had a lot of the same views. She didn't really force things on me. She didn't force me to believe ways she thought. She was always really, really open to our parenting style and really open to trusting us and trusting what we had to say about our child. So, when you have a doctor like that, it's really, really hard to find another doctor to match up to what your expectations are. And so since we've moved here, we have not found another doctor that we trust. We haven't found another doctor that we've been happy with. It's just been a horrible experience. It's just horrible. And, the most horrible thing happened today. We took Boston to the doctor. As you guys know, he's been having that rash, and he developed a sore throat with his rash. And so now he has a sore throat, he's really hoarse, and he has a rash. And, if you're a common person, you're all out there, you can Google those symptoms, and it's strep throat. It sounds just like strep throat. Sorry if you hear them over the monitor. They're in Boston's room playing. But, so we took him to the doctor, told him he had a sore throat and he had a rash. We got there at 2:30 and didn't see the doctor until 5 o'clock. At that time, she walked into the room. Well, let me take that back. Let me rewind. We sat in the waiting room while all these other people... Let me turn this monitor down. We sat in the waiting room while all these other people kept getting called back. They would be walk-ins, and they would get in there before us. And I was like, what the heck? And so finally I went up to the front desk, and I was like, are we going to need to reschedule, or can you call back and see how much longer it's going to be before they come get us? I wasn't rude about it. I just asked, just ask him how long it was going to be. And she goes, well, do you want me to call back there and ask him how long it's going to be? I was like, and right there I should have walked out. I should have known, all right, this is not the place we need to be. But as long as Boston's rashes went on, we're pretty desperate to get some answers. So, I walked, she said, do you want me to call back? And so finally they shut the little window and they called back and they started whispering around to each other. And one of the girls walked back and got a nurse, and then the nurse I walked through the door and they were like, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, seriously? We're sitting right there with the only people in the waiting room with a kid who's over there playing being loud. So how do you not notice us? But anyway, that's just where it started. So we got into the room. We told her about, we took him to the emergency room. They said it was allergic reaction. She goes, well, did they test him for anything? Did they give him any tests? I was like, no. And she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't test him for anything. I was like, yeah, me neither. That's why we're trying to get another answer. And so I was like, okay. So she left the room and came back, and she came back and said, okay, it'll just be a little bit for the doctor to be in here. We sat in the room an hour, and it was 5 o'clock before that doctor came in there. And the first thing she said when she came in, she didn't introduce herself. She didn't say, hello, who are you? Nice to meet you. Anything. The first thing she did was sit down and said, well, if you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be one of my patients, I need to get all your paperwork and need to get all your records. So you need to decide whether you're going to get care here or you're going to get care somewhere else. I was like, oh my gosh. And that should have been sign number 2 to obviously walk out of there. But I didn't, again, because I'm trying to be a good parent and get answers for him. I thought maybe she'd have the answers. And she continued to ask about his records, continued to ask about, things. She kept on pressing about the vaccinations, pressing about them. I said, we're not going to do that right now. It's not what I want to do right now. I don't want to talk about his records or anything like that. And she kind of got an attitude. I really just wanted to know what was wrong with my child. And she went over and looked at him, never spoke to him, never said, hello, Boston, hi, Boston, nothing. She just turned him around, lift up his shirt, all right, turn him around, lift up his arm, turn him around. I was like, that is so rude. He is a person, too. Like, you can speak to him. He's not stupid. And she asked me if he sleeps with us. I was like, what does that have to do with his rash? I have no idea why she would ask that. It still bothers me why she would ask that. And so she asked about his rash. She asked if he slept with us, and then she asked, well, is he up to date with vaccinations? I said, no, he's on a different vaccine schedule. We're kind of delaying those because he had an adverse reaction at 9 months. And she said, well, what happened? I said, he got a really, really high fever. He got diarrhea. Sorry, TMI. He got diarrhea, and he lost some words. He regressed a little bit. And she said, so you're trying to tell me that at 9 months old he lost mental faculties? I was like, no. I'm saying that at 9 months old he regressed a little bit. So he lost mental faculties. I was like, no. Losing mental faculties would be he went crazy. I was like, you can see he's absolutely fine now. He just had an adverse reaction. Thank God. I did my research and realized he had an allergic reaction to the immunization. Decided to hold off a little bit. So she was really wanting to know about that, kept pressing about that, and came back to the rash. She goes, I don't really know what it is, but I'm just going to give him a steroid, and maybe that'll work, maybe it won't, but it's a starting point. I was like, oh my gosh. And of course, she didn't give him any tests either. She didn't swab his throat. He has a sore throat. She didn't swab his throat. She didn't get a culture of his skin. Nothing. Okay? And her nurse came in. To me, that bothered me because her nurse came in and had that snotty remark about the emergency room not giving him a test. But she didn't either. Okay? I don't know why. What's the point of her nurse saying anything if she wasn't going to do it? She didn't do blood work, nothing on him. And she goes, well, does he have allergies or anything? I said, yes, he has allergies. He has seasonal allergies, but he takes Claritin for it. And then she turns around and says, well, I'm going to give him a prescription for Claritin because I really think that'll help his allergies, and he can just take it once a day. I was like, are you not listening? I just said he took Claritin once a day for his allergies. Or he does when he has allergies. She was like, I really think that's going to help him. I was like, oh, this lady's not listening to us. And so then she walks out, and she brings us back a steroid, to give him a steroid for his skin. She's like, you know, I'm just going to give him the steroid. If it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we'll go from there. It was the most horrible experience I've ever had. But to make it worse, she brought her nurses in. And they were going to push us into making that our primary care place. She said, I brought them in here to get your records and to figure out where his vaccine schedule is and to figure out what his reaction was to the vaccine schedule so you can jot all that down. I said, no, we're not doing it. We're leaving. And so we left. And I was very frustrated because I don't understand why that she would think that we would be a patient there after she treated us like that. I do not understand it for the life of me. And this is like going on 10 minutes. I know, I'm sorry, but it's like a really long story, like a really horrible long string of events that happened in 3 hours. So anyway, but that's where we're at on the rash. We still don't know anything. It's getting very frustrating because we spent $50 in creams. We spent so much money on creams and detergents and switching this and switching that. I just want answers so I know how to help my child. But, I mean, if you guys have any suggestions on how to find a decent doctor, I really, really want to know. I've asked people, well, I don't know. Check here, check this, check that. I'm about to start just driving to the biggest town that's closest to us and taking them there because clearly they don't know how to give medical care around here. And I'm just really frustrated. So, anyway, that was our story of what happened there. And basically, she tried to bully us into giving his care over to her. And I am not giving my son's care over to her. It was horrible. So, anyway, that was our experience. If you guys have if it's happened to you guys, if you guys have been, like, bullied by a doctor or bullied for your choices of a doctor or anything, tell us, let us know, because it's really annoying. Like, first our stinking YouTube subscription gets canceled, then our insurance comes back and says they're not going to pay on our procedure, and now we're having a rash problem with Boston. It's been like one thing after the other this past week. I'm sure everyone has like weeks like that. It's just really, but anyway, like I said, if you guys have had this experience or experience like this, let us know. And also, if you have any suggestions other than asking people by word of mouth of how to find a stinking good doctor, please let me know, because I really, really, really want to get him a good doctor. I don't have to drive back to Oklahoma to get him a good doctor. So, anyway, if you guys have any of suggestions for those questions that I've asked, let me know. And I'm sorry it's like 11-minute rant, but anyway, it's a long story, so.